I watched pretty much every single one of Caitlin's games early on because I am a fan. I do like good basketball. And of course, I wanted to see how she would do. Coming out of college and going in the WNBA, we as WNBA players were having basketball conversations, and everybody just took it to another place where we were attacking them as.
Sue Bird just revealed the WNBA's covert plan to eliminate Caitlin Clark from the beginning. And no, this wasn't a case of, oops, bad calls happen. Instead, it was a fully fledged pre-planned circus, complete with technical fouls, racial overtones, and blatant targeting. Clark wasn't destined to put up with this mess. Rather, it was a plan devised by those who couldn't handle her taking the limelight. I just don't end it, actually.
Just don't. And it actually, we talked about this before, like the fan that went hard at Caitlin at the Connecticut Sun game in game 1 or 2, I can't remember, where there was an interaction where the fan almost got ejected. It's like, none of this is okay. And we never accept it. We never accept this on the men's side.
Because jealousy and drama seem to be the WNBA's new playbook, Kathy Angelbert and her team of referees knew exactly what they were doing. Why support a rising star when you can throw her under the bus for a little extra controversy and ticket sales? Thanks to Sue, the dirty laundry is out, and things don't look good.
It's okay in our league. Why is it, welcome to mainstream?
Guaranteed Sue didn't reveal the WNBA since she had strong feelings about it. I feel sorry for Caitlin Clark because, let's not fool ourselves, it was a glorious unintentional slip-up, but who is complaining? We have the juicy details we always suspected were bubbling beneath the surface, and now everything makes sense, especially in light of Bird's recent, not-so-subtle, remarks that, let's be honest, have done nothing but disparage Caitlin Clark's record-smashing rookie season. You know, the one where she practically set the league on fire with stats that most players couldn't even imagine.
What was coming? This wasn't a surprise. And not just the comments that the commissioner made a few weeks ago, where she basically implied that the racial tension is good for business and invoking Magic and Bird.
However, Sue chose to brush that off as if it weren't a huge deal on her podcast, calling the league's success a team effort. Sure, Sue, teamwork makes the dream work and all that, but please don't act as though Clark didn't just introduce the WNBA to a whole new audience.
Television ratings, high attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it.
The tone was quickly picked up by critics as well. Was that just Bird being philosophical, or was she subtly criticizing Clark? That sounded like an attempt to dampen the spirits of someone who has been stealing the show and shattering records with ease.
Not good for business is never good for business. And sort of sidestep the question about racism and misogyny and hate that the players are receiving online, basically saying, like, don't go on social media, or, it's sort of not real.
And then there's the nagging suspicion that this might not be merely harmless remark. Is it jealous discomfort? After all, Clark's rise hasn't been subtle. Rather, it's been meteoric. She's accomplished in a year what some players never come close to in a decade, and let's face it, for someone who's been around as long as Bird watching a rookie steal all the attention, it could be something a little more personal, or just tough love from a veteran. It may sting a little, but this is where the heat really builds. The larger question goes beyond Bird's remarks and concerns whether the WNBA's leadership was covertly trying to prevent Clark from becoming overly prominent. This may be a conspiracy theory, but let's also consider facts like the fact that Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-generation rookie, received the news of her Rookie of the Year award over the phone during practice.
Not every, they're humans, looking at technology. Basketball is a little more complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different dimensions.
Before a playoff game in Connecticut, there is no fanfare or celebration. Just, oh, hello, congrats over the phone, like she was being told her dry cleaning was ready. If that doesn't scream, we don't want to make a big deal out of you, I don't know what does. And then there's the officiating.
I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard. And he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball.
Oh, The officiating the referee actually called it disrespectful to the game when Clark received a technical foul for lightly hitting the backboard in frustration after missing a shot. But veterans like Diana Taurasi have performed worse and hardly received a sidelong glance from the officials.
Nearly picks off the pass, and Diana Taurasi, they'll count the bucket.
It seems like they had one set of rules for Clark and another for everyone else, and the double standard is so obvious that it might as well be surrounded by neon lights.
Coming out of college and going in the WNBA, we as WNBA players were having basketball conversations, and everybody just took it to another place where we were attacking them as people.
The signs keep coming in, and they paint a picture that is not only concerning, but also infuriating. Was the WNBA attempting to control Clark out of concern that her quick rise would overshadow their carefully crafted narrative of collective growth? If so, that is a decision that is as perplexing as it is counterproductive. Clark is not a threat to the league. Rather, she is its greatest asset, attracting new fans, increasing ticket sales, boosting TV ratings, and providing everything the league sorely needs. But rather than celebrating her, it appears that they are hesitant, almost afraid to let her shine too brightly. MHM.
And that's, again, where that petty and jealousy lives.
But here's the worst part. The WNBA wouldn't have experienced the current wave of excitement without Caitlin Clark, so even though the leadership may believe they are defending the brand, they are actually hurting themselves because the players are the brand. Without them, the league wouldn't exist, there would be no audience, and there would be no future. The quiet announcement of Rookie of the Year and the dubious officiating substitute Bird's dismissive comments, it all adds up to a message that's as clear as it is frustrating. Slow down, Caitlin, don't upset anyone, but they must confront this reality. Whether they like it or not, Caitlin Clark is leading the league to new heights and doesn't just rock the boat, she is the boat. If they can't accept that, they will be the ones to sink.
One thing I want to reset, that we want to reset, and it's the language being used around fans. Fever fans, Caitlin fans, new fans. That actually has to go. That has to go. I understand why at times it's been used. It's kind of just when you're in an interview and you get asked a question, it's kind of easy to go, oh, the Fever fan base.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? That has to go.
Oh, these new fans. It has to go because it's not the Fever fans. It's not Caitlin.
One thing that we would like to change is the terminology used around Fever fans. I can see why it has occasionally been utilized. It's sort of like when you're in an interview and someone asks you a question, it's kind of easy to go, Caitlin fans, new fans that actually have to go, that needs to go. Oh, the fan base for Fever, what do you mean when you say that new fans must leave since they aren't Caitlin's or the Fever's fans?
When you have that, you have a lot of attention on you. There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. It is a little that Bird magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rival.
The NBA's commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, has a knack for stirring things up, and not in a good way. Her leadership style is akin to that awkward relative who always says something embarrassing at family get-togethers. One example is her obsession with rivalries as the league's ticket to relevance. The most obvious and disastrous example is when she framed Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese as the next big thing in basketball rivalries. Think Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird, but make it needlessly racially charged.
White, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another. It's a balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players much more so than they were 5 years.
Indeed, in a CNBC Power lunch interview, Engelbert boldly mentioned that Clark is white and Reese is black. Hey, doesn't that make sports exciting? If Engelbert's intention was to evoke nostalgia, she hit the wrong nerve. Instead, she received a flurry of criticism for using racial dynamics as a marketing gimmick. Let's break this down. Fans and analysts immediately called her out for being tone-deaf, accusing her of reducing two extraordinarily talented players to their skin colors rather than showcasing their skills. The worst part is that both Clark and Reese have experienced repulsive racist attacks both online and at games. Since nothing screams progressive leadership like leveraging racial conflict as a selling factor, Labor literally threw gasoline on the flames rather than addressing that. This made matters worse for both parties. Correct criticism arrived on their podcast a little more quickly than a Clark three-pointer. Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe weren't holding back when they attacked Angel Bird, accusing her of putting gaudy marketing ahead of player safety and mental health. Rapinoe essentially said that racial animosity is beneficial for business, which summed up what everyone was already thinking. Bird also said that the leadership seems more focused on making headlines than addressing pressing problems, such as the hostile surroundings that players deal with on a daily basis. You know, the kinds of things that really count.